from the basic. That is, what is firewall? So if anybody have any idea or anything like what is firewall or anything, I just want to know like at what level you can give a answer so that uh, that could be helpful for you guys only by because I have to like prepare the notes, everything, and I have to explain it in a detailed manner. So if anyone know what is firewall, if anyone has any idea about the firewall, please do let me know. Okay. So I'll start from the firewall itself then. Why firewall is used? Firewall is used just because like if we want to inspect the traffic between inbound to outbound traffic or outbound to inbound traffic, we just want to inspect. And if we feel like it is a threat or anything, our packet will be blocked or else it will be denied. Or else if your administrator has allowed the traffic or if this in the firewall, if you have created one security rule or anything for the uh, to allow the traffic, then the traffic will be allowed. So basically, what firewall will do, it will just inspect the packet. I'll just go in detailed manner when we come to the next generation firewall and all. As of now, I'm telling you about what is firewall. That's it. So it might be like hardware device or it might be software built firewall, application based firewall, or we have a lot of different firewalls based on your requirement. You will be getting like you will be know that where we are using the firewall. So what is the purpose of the firewall? So that there are three main purpose of the firewall. One is traffic control, second is for protection, and third is for logging and monitoring. So traffic control in the sense, what are the things it will include? Traffic control in the sense it will include like IP address, port number, protocols. Like if you are using any different protocols and all that will be in the traffic control. And in the protection, it will like the network layer protection, malware, or some kind of attacks will be going on in the going will be conducted in the public network. To protect that, or to we just want to get the alerts right. So because of that reason, we need a protection also and logging and monitoring in the sense if if you are using something and we want the logs of that, like what you guys are using in your organization, there might be some students or anyone those who are accessing like Netflix, what we can say. So we will get the alert list here, and if that is customized in the firewall, then everything like most used app, that thing you can see in the monitoring system. I'll show you where you can see this logging and monitoring. Okay. In detail, when we are discussing about Palo Alto, I'll just log into the firewall and I'll show you all the things. Okay. So now just we are talking about like normal firewalls. So now we are discussing about what is next generation firewall, why it is required. Again, the next generation firewall is in stateful firewall, and what it will do, it will do the packet inspection. So you might have asked me a question like, what is the difference between old firewall and next generation firewall? Old firewall also was doing the packet inspection. Next generation firewall also doing the packet inspection. Then what is the difference in between this? It will do the deep packet inspection. Like old firewalls, if you are allowing some IP or port number or anything, it may not detect the application level threats. Yeah, Vinay, you want to ask something? Okay. So deep packet inspection in the sense if the traffic is flowing and if you have allowed for 443 traffic, so what will happen? 443 in the sense it is for SSL. Okay. One second. Let me share my screen and please do let me know if my screen is visible for you. Guys, my screen is visible for you?
Yes, Rohit.
Yeah. So what will happen if, as an administrator, if you are allowed 443 or anything, along with that, it will first check for, like, we have some flow in the next generation firewall, especially in the Palo Alto firewall. Why? Because again, it is a zone-based firewall. First, it will check for the source zone. Second, it will check for the destination zone. Third, it will check for the source IP. And fourth, it will check for the destination IP. We'll be more discussing about this topic in the in not in the next class. Like we have dedicated chapter for this of the packet flow in the firewall. So as of now, we were discussing about the applications, the difference between old firewall and next generation firewall. Okay. So what will happen if you have allowed for the port number 443? Application you haven't mentioned in the old firewall, if the user is using the SSL traffic also, it will allow. Web browsing also it will allow. Web browsing actually it is like it uses the port number 80, which is not secured. And this is Palo Alto database. Okay. Can you able to see this? Web browsing, the port number 80. Guys, can you able to see this?
Yes, Rohit, we can see.
Yes.
Yeah. So what it is showing here, it is port number 80. So along with this, if someone is doing some web browsing and all, along with the port number 443, this traffic is also is getting allowed. Okay. I'll show you this thing in the practical section, like how this packet is like web browsing, he can able to access. Everything will be discussed. As of now, I'm just showing you the database. Like this is an Palo Alto library, what we can say, where the category is been segregated by Palo Alto itself. Subcategory also is segregated by Palo Alto itself. And every week, Palo Alto is updating this database. If some threat happened, like ransomware threat has happened somewhere, so everybody will get to know some threat has been alert. So we have to be aware about that. So what Palo Alto will do, they will immediately update this, and you will also get a update, patch update in the firewall. Not like how the in mobile you are using some patch security update will be coming if you are using Android or if you are using Apple or if you are using some other BlackBerry and all. Patch security patch update will be uh, you have to update that thing, right? The same as in the firewall also you have a antivirus, anti-spyware. So lot many things like malware analysis, threat and threat detection, deep packet inspection, and for all this, license is required. So based on your license, what all the subscription you have taken, based on that, like if your organization, what subscription they have given taken. So let's assume someone in your organization has not taken a subscription of VPN, so that you can't configure the VPN. Okay, so the same like it need a license, or else what license you have taken. If you have taken a basic license, what is covered in the basic license, that thing will only be covered. Like wildfire analysis uh, will be given like complimentary from the Palo Alto side, and this one DDoS protection, proxy settings. This and all thing will be pre-installed in the firewall. With a single basic license, you will get all the things. If you want to go with a threat analysis and global protect and premium service support, that thing they charges more, and you have to buy the license. Okay. So you want to know anything
Yeah,
about Palo Alto Firewall again, like
yeah,
apart from
Rohitji,
basic?
what type of license are available in Palo Alto?
So there are a lot of license. That's what I said. Malware analysis, deep packet inspection, global protect. So threat, there is a different license. There are a lot many different license. So when you purchase the firewall, they will connect with your technical team or senior resource guy so that they will discuss with them, and you will be like aware about that, like what all the license you have.
Oh,
So in Palo Alto, what all the main features they have in the sense in the application? Horizon, this works in a layer 7. That is an again application-based firewall, what we can say. And you can create a user level policies. Like for user ID, you can create a policy like user ID in the sense which will be synced from the AD. Okay, this all thing will be discussed in the class, not in the today class, but we'll be showing like I'll be creating setuping a AD server, and some of the local database also will create, and from the AD we are trying to sync this user group to the firewall. Everything will be done and everything will be shown to you guys, as well as that same scenario will be given to you where I have configured this LDAP server and so that you could have practiced that thing. Okay, and in the threat prevention, in the especially Palo Alto Firewall has built-in IPS, antivirus, URL filtering, wildfire analysis, and sandbox. So we have this many things. And in the SSL decryption, you have full control for SSL TLS decryption of the deep inspections of the packet. And again, in the user identification, you can, as I said, you can apply the policy based on the username, and username you can apply the policy. Most of all the firewall, you have to restrict them in a IP basis. If we don't have any such kind of restrictions, either you can create the username in local database, or else you can, if you want, you can create the username in the AD group, or else you can just create one group in the AD. If you added that group in the AD directly, it will be synced with the Palo Alto firewall. And this packet flow, there is a different mechanism. Why? Because Palo Alto will never trust any third party applications or anything. So because of that, all the users which is coming from any LDAP server, radius server, TACAC server, that is an again different vendor, right? That is not built by Palo Alto. So though you have configured that thing, authorization, accounting and authorization will be done from the AD side, and authentication will be done from the firewall side. That authority, firewall will never give to any third party or anything because of the security purpose. Whatever it may be, if you map that also, authentication will be done in firewall. And along with that, it has like threat intelligence technology and cloud support like SD-WAN, AWS, Azure, GCP. You have different uh, support, and the main part is like centralized management system. I don't know you have heard about this thing or not, but centralized management system in the sense, let's assume if you have 100 firewall, okay. So if you want to do any patch update in 100 firewall, you have to again log into the single firewall, and doing that configuration will take a lot of effort, and it also consume a lot of time. So because of that, Palo Alto has a centralized management system called Panorama. In single Panorama, all the firewall will be mapped to the Panorama, and it's look like same dashboard, which is when you log into the firewall, the same dashboard is in the Panorama. But one condition here in the sense, like in firewall, if you do some changes, you'll just commit. Okay. In Panorama, if you do some changes, if you just commit, that will be saved in the Panorama. To save the configuration in the firewall, you have to push. We have option to push from Panorama saved configuration. You will push it to the firewall. Okay. And it has very, like, you can use the Palo Alto firewall in very large network. Why? Because it has robust engine and it has high performance. And if one packet came, it will be segregated. App ID, content ID, user ID, everything will be segregated, inspected. Then packet will be merged and send it within a fraction of second. So that is what we called it as SP3 engine, single pass parallel processing. Okay. Any confusion in this part? Or if you want to ask anything, you can ask me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, is this session like today that's Palo Alto class is started, or this is just a webinar session you are taking?
No, I just told, like, I'll just start it from the basic. So first I told what is firewall, then what is Palo Alto firewall. So once I
So,
start that, like, I'll be discussing about the architecture of the firewall. So if you don't know what is firewall itself, that could be very difficult for you to understand the things. So that is why I have started it from the basic. So everyone is not aware about that. So why? Because that is the reason I asked you a question, what is firewall? So nobody answered to that question itself. That is a very basic kind of thing. What is firewall?
okay, actually I joined late a little bit, so uh, that's why just asking you. Lines today is started, right? From today that class is started.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay, thank you.
Anyone want to ask anything? Any doubt? So if you don't have any doubt or anything, I'll just continue with the topics, which is required for basics of firewall to understand, like, what is the difference between next generation firewall, everything.
Hello, Rohit.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one question that
Yeah.
you said that last session that ED210 is it's a PC NSA administrator, right?
Hmm.
So why put the different name in? I search on Google so many things that contains some contents are different. If I meant to say why put the different name? If you are saying EDU210 is both
Hmm.
are same.
Hmm.
So if any
No, I didn't say EDU210 and PCNS is the same.
because
The topics which is not there in PCNSE, everything will be covered in EDU210. That is what we are taking a class, EDU210.
okay, and second thing is PCNSE.
Hmm.
How we can basic things we can feel like that you said that EDU210 is PCNSA and all these things. So I want to know
See,
PCNSE.
PCNSE, again, it's an, like, certification oriented program
Hmm.
where you will be taking, if you want to, like, prove it as a Palo Alto certified engineer, you have to write PCNSE exam. You can't say I have trained EDU 210. EDU 210, what it is a complete practical package. Along with that, you will be, every concept will be explained, and it is completely practical.
And
PCNS is not like that. PCNS is like exam oriented, like what all the questions they will ask, what all the concept you should be knowing to just to clear the exam. So this is how PCNS is.
so you are explain both things or only explain the PCNSA?
If I am explaining EDU 210, you know everything, right?
Last thing I tried to ask you, but I think some technical issues, so I didn't get you.
Hmm?
Yeah, hi guys. I'm Gaurav from networking. So, guys, this is our advanced batch. In this batch, our focus is based on the industry scenarios, and it's official training of Palo Alto. if somebody wants to learn only PCNSA or PCNSE, we have another batch which is on weekend. We are taking Saturday, Sunday at 11 a.m. But that is based on only certification. So you can enroll for that also if anybody have any questions related to PCNSE and all.
No, actually, someone trainer told me that both lectures will conduct in this session, so I asked about.
Because see, I'll tell you, there are a lot of people, their intent is not to crack certification. Their intent is how to handle the real-time production issues. So this batch, even you will go on Palo Alto website and see these three modules. So the major module we are covering here. Moreover, it's, I don't know how you are checking, but 95% whatever topic is there in PC and SE, it's already there in this. It's just that it's not theoretical, it's all about practical. Yeah, Rohit, over to you.
Yeah. So I'll be
Hello.
discussing. Yeah, tell me.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. You are audible.
Yes, sir. I have a question to you. As you told, we have to purchase license for use premium services in Palo Alto Firewall, like VPN or other premium services.
Hmm.
Uh, if we want to practice in EVNG and topology to practice that types of
See,
protocols,
I
so we
told
have to purchase
license.
license
It's a type. Okay. So if you are practicing EVNG, everything you have a facility in EVNG. Some of the thing like wildfire analysis, you can able to configure what is required for wildfire analysis. I'll show you the things, but uh, live traffic you can't monitor in the wildfire analysis. For that you need a license. But global protect also I'll configure and show it to you. But global protect will not connect. That is the reason. So if you have license, that will be connected, and I'll show you along with that like how to configure the global protect, what all the basic criteria required to configure the global protect in your firewall. Again, where you will get the global protect application. So it might be 32 or 64-bit global protect, so you can directly download and keep it with you. And how to verify that your configuration is correct or not, till that I'll explain and I'll show it to you. But you can't able to connect the global protect. Why? Because you don't have license.
Okay, sir.
That's
If
it.
I have a Palo Alto firewall license, then this situation only I can use in that type of
As per my
services or
suggestion, as per my suggestion, taking a Palo Alto license is not really necessary. So you have a facility, you can learn the 100% things in EVNG itself. Why? Because
without
see,
any license.
why I am telling in the sense, you will be not using that firewall anywhere in the live environment, correct? So that is not be helpful for you. Like if you are configured in your home and you are paying for the license and all, that is not worth kind of thing. That will be like waste of money. You have an
Yes,
option
sir.
to learn the things here itself. So everything will get it here. Just to see the live traffic, live logs. In my batch, like if students are showing their 100% effort or anything, I used to show them the live traffic also. That too, like that is my personal licensed firewall. So there I used to show it to the students at the end of the class, like how this traffic logs will be covered or anything. That is completely based on your interest. Like that is what I said. If you ask me things, I'll explain you more lot of things which is required, which is covered in the topic, which is covered in the course or not. We don't bother about that things. Our job is to train you guys. We are training here, and this is not a exam oriented. Again, I'm saying this is completely about practical. After completion of this course, you can directly go and give the entry for the tag also. But your hard work and dedication is required. Like if you start learning the things, definitely you'll get a doubt. When once you log in the firewall, a lot of doubts will be raised in your mind. Then only we'll get to know like you are trying something. So what all the things it is required, just we are going to cover that thing also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So now the topic is like the threat prevention and advanced malware detection and zero trust architecture. Threat prevention and malware detection, I have just told you like what all the things is there in the threat detection and malware analysis detection. Zero trust architecture is an like trust nobody, always verify. Like I'll just give you the example. So if you have one clubhouse, okay, so you are the member of that clubhouse. What happens if you bring your friend or anyone? You will just say he's my friend, just allow him. But as there will be one security guard for it, he will he'll not do the things like he's your friend, he'll not allow you. What he'll do, he'll verify the things first, whether he carries something with him, and he'll take his entry in the register book, contact number, Aadhaar card details, everything. So that is some kind of verification kind of thing is right. So what are all the things which is ingress like incoming to the firewall? Everything will be inspected and verified. And if it is not allowed, then the packet will be dropped. This is how the zero trust architecture works. And Palo Alto has a zero trust architecture. Okay. And uh, we'll be discussing about now some of the applications. See, web browsing, it is showing risk for, and Palo Alto is like considering some of the URLs or some of the category as risk 5. So you have to check like how the application is getting treated in your security role. You have to check the hit count, everything. Just give me 1 second. I'll stop sharing the screen. Then I'll log into my firewall and I'll show you like how it will be looking for you in the real world. Okay. Can I guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. This is a panorama dashboard where I have logged in, and you'll get the IP address of the panorama model, everything, serial number, MAC ID, every details will be getted over here. Now we are just discussing about the application. So I'll just come here and we'll look it for any of the rule. Okay, see for this. See, here we can see the app scene. Okay, so this port number 8020 has just allowed here. So in the app scene, we have just two hit counts. When you click on this, you can able to see here. Mm. See here two app scene is there. Let me check. we have a hit count or not. Yeah, see, in the two apps seen, this application base, they have been allowed, SSH and SSL. We will come and click here. See, the risk 4 it is showing, and the application what it is using, SSH and SSL. Exactly what applications, what port number you have mentioned in the security rule. Apart from that, no other application will be accessed, no other port number will be accessed, and no other user will be accessed, and no other zone peoples can access until unless if something goes wrong, that is an administrator fault. If he had allowed some zone, like if he had allowed internet to some private network zone or anything, until unless if he has allowed that, and if he kept like application any port number any, so if someone is trying to access from the internet side, they can easily able to access your network, private network. So this is how the firewall looks. Same as this firewall, the login page also same. So this is the dashboard, and this is the account section where you'll get like threat activity, block activity, tunnel activity, global protect activity, SSL activity, network activity. Every activity will be monitored here, logged here. And in the monitoring section, you can able to monitor the traffic logs, threat logs, URL filtering, wildfire analysis, data filtering, hip match, global protect, and in here also you can check the tunnel inspection, decryption, encryption of the packet, and the configuration. Configuration in the sense, if administrator is using or some of the configurations in the firewall, that configuration changes will be reflected here. At what time, which administrator used, and what is the firewall IP address, what changes he had did, and the firewall name, security rule name, everything will be reflected here. The configuration changes and authentication, everything like you will get it here, like all the details. And if you want, if you're doing some audit kind of things and all, you can get like PDF summary report, you can download everything. And in the next thing in the policy, in the security policies pre-rules also, you can export all this security rule which has been created, that will be exported in the CSV file format or PDF file format. Just click, you have to select the security rule and you have to click on PDF CSV export. That all the files will be exported, and this will be helpful for you for the audit purpose. And you might have know about NAT, QoS also, you have a features, and this is policy based forwarding. I'm just giving you a brief description, uh, kind of thing. I'm not digging into the concept. I'm just telling the overview. Okay. So policy based forwarding in the sense, like if you have two internet lines, like one is Airtel and one is Jio. If some user is requesting, like if they want to reach to the destination via Geo link, you can configure both the links in the policy based forwarding. So once that IP, like your destination IP, let's assume 1.1.1, if that user is requesting from the private network, he requested for 1.1.1, instead of going in a Airtel primary link, the traffic will be flown in the secondary link. Okay, decryption, again encryption and packet encryption and decryption will be happened. Some tunnels will be created. Like if you are trying to access something in the browser or anything, some kind of certificate and tunnel will be created. Okay, let's assume here I'll type google.com. Okay, so can you able to see it is secured? Connection is secured, correct? So why it is secured is showing due to some certificate installed in this. What that will do, it will build a trust between you and the server and the client. There will be two tunnels will be created, and what all the traffic will be flown with, which will be flown inside the tunnel. Nobody can able to uh, get that tunnel information, like what data it is flowing from the tunnel. No one can able to access that information. If they want to access, you have an option called decryption. If you have decrypted that traffic, firewall also have a features of decrypting. You can able to decrypt the traffic. Okay. So network packet broker, I'll be discussing you in the class when we want to discuss. And tunnel, the same kind of thing as I told, like some tunnels will be created, or else you might know about IPsec tunnels or anything. So in that case, this tunnels will be we are creating, and we are creating one security rule for the tunnel, like how our traffic should be flown from the tunnel, from which tunnel our traffic should be flown. That kind of like command will be giving here in this option. And application override, in the sense, you in your firewall, some of the application, like from the library it is referring, okay, some of the applications won't work as you expect. So at that time, what it will do, you will just override, like Google, gmail.com, if you try to access, if you have allowed and created only one security rule for this gmail.com, let's assume that user might access in his phone, he might access in his browser, he might access in the command prompt. So this firewall analysis, this will not allow to access the gmail.com. This, if you allow the gmail.com, he might have access in terminal or command prompt or web browser. But if he is accessing from the app, it will not allow. So at that time, it will use for web browsing as well as Google base. So that thing also you need to allow in the security rules. After you are allowing this thing also, if the gmail.com is not working, then you have to create one application override rule, so that Gmail, what all the application it is used in the firewall, it will be allowed to that user. If you deny that, everything will be denied. DDoS protection and authentication, will be not discussing as of now. Why? Because if I said this, we will confuse. And DOS protection, in the sense, like uh, it might be applications or hardware where by default this Palo Alto is monitor some kind of threats. Like if more than that packet hit count is generating from any of the interface or anything directly, that interface will be down, or it will be blocked. That traffic will be not allowed to flow from that interface. So SD-WAN is not a part of our training, so we are not going to touch the SD-WAN. Okay. And then we have the option of creating address group, in the sense, like IP address naming everything, and you can create that group and you can add that in a group. And dynamic user group, in the sense, like you can um, if you have 10 number of users and one users, if you want to give access or dynamically or anything, you can use this dynamic user group. And in the application section, like the same as dashboard library, what they are updating here, to access from the firewall, this is the library, and this will get updated every week. Okay, this is the same dashboard. There is no difference between this and this. This is an external website where we are using, and this is the application groups, applications, what it is installed in the firewall. So if you want, this is an all category, like business category, business or system category, which has been uh, mentioned by Palo Alto team itself. So if you want to do some changes or anything, you can create your own custom category using the help of URL category, which is mentioned here. Okay, you can create your own category. See, we have created the own category for Amazon, Microsoft, Office 365. So you can create this kind of category also. And we have a antivirus, anti-spyware, vulnerability protection, URL filtering, file blocking. File blocking, in the sense, if you want to block PDF file, image, JPEG file, CSV file, what all the file it is required, you have to just create a rule and you have to call that in a security profile, or else this is of no use. If you are creating just a profile, first thing you have to create a profile, then you have to call that profile in a security policy rule, or else that is of no use. Okay, next is like network kind of thing. As I told, like we have to configure the interface, VLAN, tunnel, everything. Zone also we have to create what all the zone that is required in your organization. So based on that, we have to create the zone, everything. And in the virtual wire, as I said, if you have two different organization, we will be discussing more about this. Like we have different interface type, like one is TAP, vWire, L2, L3, tunnel, and HA. So we have different interface type. We'll be discussing more about that. And in the virtual router also, we have a different options like default router, RIP, OSPF version 3, BGP, multicast, redistribution profile, and this is a static routing what we can add here. So we have multiple options based on your requirement. What all the configurations you need to do, you can just mention these things here. And this is IPsec tunnel, GRE tunnel, DHCP server also we can configure here. So you might have heard about like in Cisco router or router we can configure the DHCP server, correct? The same as we can configure the DHCP server, and we can user can be allocated IP address on the firewall itself. We have option of that. This is a complete global protect thing and QoS kind of thing. And QoS option is there in the Palo Alto firewall, but it is not recommended by Palo Alto to, or else not only Palo Alto, any of the firewall company is not recommending to configure the QoS in the firewall itself. That is not the best security practices. So they are denying. So though if you want to configure the QoS kind of thing, you can configure it in your firewall. Okay. Then this is about device. Like you will get the device information like setup. Here you have option of creating a management interface so that you could have access this IP address in browser, or if you are in the same network or anything, you can open it in your device wherever you are in the same network. So this kind of things will be configured here, authentication, policy rules, and these things we'll be discussing more, not today. We have a complete like step-by-step module to discuss about the firewall, and here we have options of creating an administrator rule and all, like um, if Rohit is a super admin, so he can able to access anything in the firewall. So if I want to restrict someone in the organization, like uh, if they just want do not to do any changes, but they can able to see anything in the firewall, but they don't have authority to change in the do any changes in the firewall. So that kind of uh, restrictions also we can create in the firewall, so that we can give it to the administrator also, like read write, read only, write only, both read write access. So there are different types for that. So we'll be discussing about that thing also. Okay, this is how the overlook of the firewall, and this all the features are there in Palo Alto firewall. If you want to see anything or if you want to know anything about this, I'll show you now. Guys, anything you want to discuss, anything you want to see, anything you want to know from this class, today's class, any doubt, you can just discuss.
Sorry, we will be getting recorded session also, right?
Yeah, you will be getting the recorded sessions.
Okay. Okay.
So, no doubt, everything is
Uh,
clear.
I, I Rohit sir, this is Rahul.
Yeah.
The I mean, the firewall also act as a gateway, right?
Yeah.
I mean, working gateway.
Yeah, here in the firewall, because of the security reasons, firewall will not act as a gateway, but they have restricted into the interface here. So interface will be act as a gateway in this firewall, especially due to some security reasons.
Yeah.
So again, it's an zone-based firewall. I'll be discussing about this, what is zone-based and why we have to create a zone, everything in the Palo Alto firewall. What all the traffic is there and the gateway is there, that will be restricted to particular interface itself. Like let's assume you have connected one cable to the interface 1/1, and if you have connected the interface to the 1/2, and 1/1, the zone we call it as LAN, and 1/2 the zone we call it as WAN. By default, this access is not allowed. For LAN users, 1/1 is a gateway, and for WAN users, 1/2 is a gateway. Okay. By default, in this Palo Alto firewall, this is not allowed. To allow that, we have to create one rule. That is what we call it as intra-zone rule. We have to create, and that rule should be allowed in the firewall, or else traffic will be not allowed from both the interface. Until unless if you are commanding or giving allocating any rule for that, this traffic will be not allowed. It's a very good question actually. That is a part of training why they have configured and they have restricted only to the interface gateway.
Yeah, because I have seen most of the hotel industry, they are not using router as a gateway, they are using firewall as a gateway.
Yeah, because of this reason only.
Okay.
And again, this Palo Alto is most secured, and again, it's a zone-based firewall. It will be like restricted to its zone itself. Until unless if you are not specifying anything, it will not allow you to flow the traffic from one zone to another zone.
I think all firewalls same like this only, no? Like 40 or checkpoint.
No, no. Somewhat like it matches around 50-60% of these features, but till now nobody has matched till the Palo Alto. Why? Because that is the reason they are still running in the market as a world's best firewall.
40
And
also same these type of features, no? 40K, 49.
60%, not completely.
Okay.
Not completely.
Wait.
Yeah.
That application based like the Palo Alto only or checkpoint or 40 is also application based firewall?
They are also like application based only, but uh, there are like some difference between checkpoint and checkpoint, FortiGate, and Palo Alto. Nowadays, most of all peoples are using Palo Alto itself because of it is more secured, and you might heard about the FortiGate firewall news. Some kind of ransomware attack has been happened. Why? Because in interface itself, it has like DOS protection and zone protection, as well as the gateway protection also. And it has very good threat intelligence, and everything will be updated within 7 days. In a week, they are going to update their library. Like see, some hacker will be doing some pen testing. They might have search for any new destinations or anything. So their headers signatures will be different. So they are updating every weekly because of that reason. If any new signature, new headers came, then again they'll update that so that directly it will get blocked. And the main part is other firewall, if any new signatures came or anything like new kind of thing will come, if it is not detected or anything, that traffic will be allowed, right? In this Palo Alto firewall, if new signature came, if firewall got confused, the traffic will be dropped. It will not allow. Then you have to manually, if you have to allow that, and you have to raise a case with Palo Alto TAC, You have a dedicated portal to raise that, and you should be requesting the Palo Alto team to allow this URL in your organizations or anything. In your organization, if they are building some applications or anything, if firewall doesn't understand that header and signatures, then definitely the traffic will be blocked, and it will be showed not in the traffic section, it will be showed in the threat section here. And what is the risk of that threat also, it will show it here itself. As of now, we don't have any logs for this, but it will show here, not in this traffic section. Second, we have threat section, it will be reflected here. And we have to get that logs, everything. Then we have to like send it to Palo Alto tag. Then we have to request raise a case with tag. Then we have to tell them that yeah, this is our own applications or URL. So kindly allow us. So then they will be allowing that application to flow from the firewall, or else you can't able to allow the traffic. That is what I called it about security.
So that like app ID is like a application ID, correct?
Yeah,
App ID feature is like only the, like in the Palo Alto firewall is
yeah.
there, not in the checkpoint
Other
and the
in
coordinator.
other firewall, what happens if you are if it is a known app ID, if administrator has allowed, that will be allowed. If known application ID and administrator has denied that, that will be denied. If it is an unknown, like firewall only in the firewall database, if they don't know about this application, that traffic will be allowed. Okay, but in this firewall, it will not allow. It will just give a alert in threat section. Traffic will be blocked in the interface itself. That too in an
Okay.
ingress interface, not in an egress interface. Ingress interface in the sense inbound traffic where the traffic is flowing, there only it is getting blocked.
Android, one question is like we will cover that installation part as well or not?
What?
Is the Palo Alto firewall installation part,
Hmm.
we'll cover it in our session?
Restoration part.
Yeah, installation part.
Installation,
Yeah.
I'll be showing it to you. That is a
So,
module we have to cover. So before
means
that,
we will cover
like managing a firewall, like if new firewall came, how to fetch the license and how to
it.
configure the management IP address in command prompt. Everything will be discussed. Before that also, like I'll be discussing about different models of the firewall. What is SP3 engine? We'll be digging more into this concept. I have just shown an overview of the firewall, like how it looks, what is the login page, what is the dashboard, what are the things we are going to learn, what is the difference between other firewall and this firewall, what is firewall. This whole thing is required, or else, like, if I start directly, you will get confused and you will not understand. Like, if I start from the next generation firewall, if someone come and ask you what is the difference between old firewall and new firewall, then you can't able to understand the things, right? You can't able to tell the things. Then they'll assume like you are
Mhm.
don't have experience on these things.
Yeah, like that interview-based question and answers, like we'll discuss like topic
Yeah,
wise topic or like after.
while I'm discussing about the concept, if it is
Mhm.
important, if they are asking you about the questions and all, like what are the questions I'll be asking you after the class or while discussing about that topic, I used to ask a question. That is an interview questions only.
That's fine, but like for example, today you ask something, right? But
Hmm.
after 2 to 3 days, like obviously you will forget what. So just like
No, I
you will.
have prepared the document of set of interview questions. Why? Because I'm only taking the interview in my organization, so I have a set of questions.
Mhm.
After the completion of the class, I'll be sharing it to you. And
Mhm.
when this class is like officially announced, like those who have done a payment, everything, and those who have
Mhm.
joined the class properly, I'll be
Mhm.
sharing them official Palo Alto book, and notes will
Mhm.
be shared after the completion of class. and I'll be
Mhm.
giving you official EDU 210 lab guide. That thing you'll not get in the market anywhere.
Mhm. What kind of tabs like we'll get in that
What?
which you shared, right? You told that lab book something, right?
Yeah, that will be shared only for the enrolled people. Those who have already enrolled for the course.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just request for Gaurav sir or networking guys to share the list of the students for them only will be sharing all the documents. Official documents will be shared with them. That is a completely official kind of thing. Then that document will not get anywhere in the market. That is what we are saying. That this is EDO 210. PCNSC guide you will get,
Mm-hmm.
PCNSC book you will get in the internet itself.
Mm-hmm.
That thing anywhere you will get it. You will just get a PDF file, book, everything will get it. But EDU 210 will not get anywhere. You just go for EDU 210 version 11 and 12. You can't able to get the document.
Okay. And Rohit, that left side, all of the like which options are mentioned. So we will
Hmm.
call all of the options, right? Like one
Yeah,
by one.
I'll be discussing all the options. See, some of the thing like QoS, uh, I'll tell you how to configure, but for QoS, I can't show you the live traffic. Okay. Same as this wildfire, spyware configuration, everything I'll show you. But live traffic you can't see here. Like logs, it is generating, right? That you can't able to see. Configuration,
Just
everything I
example
can
you will
show.
see.
Yeah.
Like just examples you will show us, right?
Not
How we can do
example.
this.
The configuration only I'll show it to you.
Okay.
Exact configuration, how to configure this thing, how to monitor these things, and how to verify that your configuration is correct or wrong. I'll show you all these things. But only one problem is you can't able to see the live traffic.
Okay. And one last question.
Yeah.
Like when we will like reach to that side to side VPN
Hmm.
topic. So
Hmm.
like will we cover like for example we have a 2 3 firewalls, for example other side is the Fortinet or
Hmm.
checkpoint, or
Hmm.
we have a Palo Alto, right?
Hmm.
So that option also we will cover it like how we can make up the tunnel and
See,
settings like.
IPsec configuration, I'll show you to you. That is
Mhm.
between two firewalls only, Palo Alto. Okay.
Mhm.
And what all the main criteria is required for the IPsec tunnel? That is, pre-shared key should match, public key should match. Okay,
Mhm.
and the encryption key what you are generating that should match, and both the end the configuration should be same. I'm not saying both the end firewall should be same. Okay, configuration should
Mhm.
be same. You can configure in Cisco router also. One side if you have Palo Alto firewall, another side we have a Cisco router. In that we have option of creating IPsec tunnel. There also you can configure and tunnel will be up. I'll show you that thing, and I'll tell you when you
Mhm.
are doing configuration between Palo Alto and Palo Alto, the tunnel will be directly up. But when you configure
Mhm.
the IPsec tunnel between Palo Alto and some other vendor, tunnel will be down. Manually, we have to up the tunnel. So a lot of people will get confused. Like I have did configuration correct, but still tunnel
Mhm.
is showing in a red. That means it is down.
Mhm.
So people will not get to know until unless if traffic is flow from that tunnel, until unless if you
Mhm.
initiate the traffic from that tunnel will be not up if you are configuring with some other vendor.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Yeah,
in the
so like
initial
you will
class we
use so
have
right.
lot many things to discuss, like if you are migrating from other firewall to Palo Alto, how you can
Mhm.
easily migrate within a fraction of second. Like it will just take half an hour time or 1 2 hours maximum. You can convert
Mhm.
how many rules it may be, it will be converted to Palo Alto firewall. So I'll
Mhm.
show you that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you told it that if the person is in LAN and the other one is in WAN, if the
Hmm.
LAN person wants to communicate with the WAN, we need to create a policy. Same is for the same thing, like when the person is in WAN and the other person is in LAN. If the
Hmm.
WAN person wants to communicate with the LAN, we
Hmm.
need to create again the policy.
Yeah, again you have to create another one policy. You have
Okay,
just
sir,
allowed
why
from
would
LAN to WAN, but from WAN you are not allowed. So in that case, either you can create two rule, or else in a single rule you can create bidirectional rule and you can allow the traffic.
sir, why we need to create a policy for that?
Why? Because it's an again zone-based firewall. That is we haven't discussed it. I have just told you like we have just discussed about the overview of the firewall. I
Is it
just
for security purpose or for anything else?
yeah,
Is
it
it for
is for
security purpose?
security purpose.
Yes, sir. We are using netting also for in order to protect our any
Hmm.
IP address. So,
Hmm.
what is the difference between NAT and this security policy here? With the help of NAT, we can also protect our IP address of a particular person. But
Why?
here, I'm not getting
Can you please tell me why NAT is where the NAT will be used?
the NAT. For example, NAT is using at that person. Why we want to like, for example, the person is working in using an IP private IP address. If he wants
Hmm.
to go to the public IP address at that time, we use a NAT. So that in order
Who
to
said?
the third
Why we have to use that?
so in order to protect our particular IP, like the person who is working in the private company, any
Hmm.
company, we want to
Hmm.
protect it at particular IP, a particular person. For
Okay.
that reason, we use netting for that.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
read somewhere. I'm new
Okay.
in this field. I
Let's
don't know
assume
that
if
much.
you have in your organization you have two different lab. Okay.
Yes.
So let's assume one is Tata and another one is Jaguar.
Okay.
Okay. Both are in LAN zone. If you create the LAN zone for them, traffic will be allowed directly, right? So Tata user can easily able to access Jaguar system, and Jaguar system user can easily able to access Tata system. So what is the security in
Yes.
that?
If they're working in particular in one organization, that means they both I was believing under protection.
Hmm.
So I told you that I am new in this field. That's why I'm asking this question. I have read this somewhere from that they are using NAT
Yeah,
for that
see,
reason,
I'll
not
tell
to protect.
you, I'll show you here, just a minute. In the network section, while creating zone, okay, we have created one zone, two zones here. But we have created it for
Yes,
interface 1/25 and 1/26. Okay, those
yes.
two zones will be allocated for 1/25 and 1/26, and the IP address will be attached here. To allow this IP address between two zones, we need to create one security policy.
Security policy. Yes. Okay, got it now.
This is all are the part of the training. You're asking everything today itself.
No, actually, I have read this from somewhere
Yeah,
before
no
few
problem, no
days.
problem.
I read these policies.
By step, we'll cover the topic so that
Yeah,
you could have understand the things.
you sir
So
mentioned that zones. That's why I asked this question because I
yeah.
have read this somewhere. Actually, I told I'm totally new in this field. That's why.
Hmm. No problem. Just keep on asking a question so that we could have discussed a lot of things in the class itself.
Yes, yes.
Please do ask a
Thank you, sir.
question. Yeah. Anything else?
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to ask if some I make changes, suppose I create one ID for user,
Hmm.
and second thing I do URL filtering. Okay. And
One
so
ID and another.
another thing is I make a URL filtering. I make
Hmm.
changes some
Hmm.
URL
Hmm.
filter that. And
Hmm.
third thing is OSP protocol. I use that. So
Hmm.
where I can see that logs if they are